Howdy everyone, welcome to another episode of Murray Safari Park. Now of course we're only at the third episode at this point, but as you can see we've made enough progress to finally get another episode. Of course each one has had quite a bit going on, and this one has quite a bit too. It's the entire Andean area, if you couldn't tell by the title, but here we have a llama and alpaca habitat. And these guys, they take up quite a bit of space in here, but the building itself is based on a farm, like an alpaca farm in, I think the Sacred Valley in Peru is what it's called. It's just seems like people like to visit it, but like the buildings itself look like it. And the monorail here goes all the way through, and then of course through the Saki enclosure. And then over here we have a cougar, or more appropriately for the region, puma enclosure. This is I think a decently sized enclosure for a single one. Usually they'll be by themselves in the wild, and this cougar, Mateo is his name. He's something. He's just by himself here, but we've tried to model some of the plants after different stuff, the kind of ones you'd see around the areas, the lower slopes of the Andes. You see we go up in elevation a bit as we get here, and you can see another angle of the puma habitat. And over here, look, we have the train track going through that into the spectacled bear enclosure, or I prefer to call him the Andean bear, but especially since what this area is called after all. He's right here behind the fence. He's got a quite big habitat for himself. And then over here we have gray fox. Well, of course gray fox is not in the game. This is actually just the red fox with its color morph that I thought looked similar to the gray fox, and considering they're very similar size to the gray fox, which is range, gets almost about into the Andes in some part, so I think I decided to include it because I wanted to put a little enclosure there, and that's about all that fit. Of course, you have a little museum here. Might as well shout out Captain Callum for this museum. If you've seen his Incan thing, I think you'd know. Of course, you got the gold engravings, the quipu, the pottery, which also, this one here, I added some things, added some handles and whatnot. Base it off a picture I saw on a llama statue, a very interesting one I tried to put together. Pretty simple. You have an indoor part of the fox enclosure. However, they can't really use it because, it's not connected. It would have been too hard. But over here we have the spectacled bear, or as I said, I prefer to call it the Andean bear. And he's just kind of chilling out inside in this indoor area here. You can see him both outdoor and indoor. So he's got, I think, plenty of space for himself. And maybe there'd be some kind of off-site enclosure, I don't know, where you could have a female if you're really trying to breed them. And over here we have it going into starts to get a little more tropical looking as we get more into that region of South America. We have the enclosure here. There's just a bunch of water in the middle and plenty of grass and some things to climb on, some natural looking ones with branches and whatnot. Little like rock barrier. I had the fences between the puma habitat and Andean bear habitat a little bit further apart for a reason. Just so they don't maybe confront each other and see each other directly. Here we have the Pantanal, is that we're going to be moving into next. And you'll see a bit more about that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And we'll make our way through the Flamingo building and over to these greenhouses we've constructed on the outskirts of the zoo. This is a staff area where we grow some different fruits and vegetables. Well, really just vegetables, but it's for the animals, of course. I'm sure some zoos do grow, but this one does especially grow food for our own animals. Just needed some kind of buildings to put here, decided to make an interior. Then here we have this little area, that's the bathroom, of course, and yeah, if you look up from above, you You can see this whole area, it kind of ascends a little bit into the building, and this is quite a lot of building I had for one episode, which is why it took so long to come out. You have this little path starting around the park, just like Silver Valley Zoo. And there's this backstage connected to the Dama Gazelle backstage, and over here we'll have something going on. There's actually two different sub areas of this trail. I'll see a little viewing area there, something in the works here. Let's say there's some underwater stuff. You can't have the Pantanal without that. Here's one big enclosure at this point. And some stuff here. It will just kind of go all the way through here. Different parts of South America. And then we'll move into the next area, but that's for later. So that's all we have built for now. The park's starting to come together, and I'll see you later.